Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, police in North Carolina take a man into custody following reports of shots fired on campus.
The city of Victoria will hold a public hearing Tuesday on the 2024 fiscal year budget and tax rate proposal.
And a district judge set a March 2024 trial date in Donald Trump's federal election interference case.
We have a few little showers out there, nothing happening in our area, but that didn't help to cool down the temperatures. We're up to 105 this afternoon. We'll have more on that and the latest on the hurricane headed to Florida.
We have new details on the suspected gunman in that Jacksonville mass shooting over the weekend. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good Monday afternoon. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A man was taken into custody today following reports of shots fired on the campus of UNC. Authorities haven't confirmed if the man is the same man in the picture released by campus police earlier as a person of interest. Around 1 p.m., UNC sent an emergency notification to students and staff that an armed and dangerous person was on or near campus. Authorities haven't released any information confirming his identity. There is no word at this time concerning potential injuries related to that shooting. The proposed budget for the city of Victoria for the fiscal year 2024 includes $97.6 million for capital improvement projects like the new public safety headquarters. The city is recommending a property tax rate of 0.4898 cents per $100 property valuation, a decrease of 0.0684 cents or 13% from last year's tax rate. Tomorrow, there's a public hearing and vote on the budget and tax rate. A final public hearing and final vote is set for September 5th. The City Council meeting starts at 5 p.m. at 105 West 1 Lynn Street.
This oversized load made its way out of Coleto Power Plant this morning. It's an electrical infrastructure component and went south on Highway 59 to Fannin into Goliad, north on Highway 183 and on Highway 119 into Yorktown. Drivers were warned ahead of time on social media, but it still took several hours to make the trip.
All right, time to talk about the heat, and Mac, our ranchers and farmers sure need some rain.
Wow, this afternoon we spiked up to 105, but I'll tell you what is interesting. The big story in weather is that we have a hurricane called Idalia. Idalia is going to be rolling toward Florida. There's very little chance it'll actually avoid, and it looks like it'll be going into the Big Bend by tomorrow night. Idalia at a Category 3 is going to be a major storm for Florida. This would be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so we'll have the latest for you coming up in a moment. James?
Thank you. The University of Texas Health Houston program brought its Rose mobile mammography screenings to downtown Victoria today. The program is aimed at expanding access to women who are 40 years or older who need a breast cancer screening. They wouldn't be able to receive these otherwise.
Getting a mammogram for them is an opportunity to find something in time when you can actually get treatment successfully and be a cancer survivor. So that is our goal, to extend life and quality of life.
You can get screened for breast cancer at a clinic, hospital, or doctor's office. To learn more about the Rose mobile mammography screenings, come to crossroadstoday.com. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Do you get regular cancer screenings? Yes or no? We want to know. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate, and we'll have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Well, after 27 years serving the Victoria Fire Department, Chief Robert Fox is retiring. Karina Garcia has more now with Chief Fox. Karina?
That's right. Thank you, James. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So 27 years, this is a great accomplishment. What's one of the most memorable things you've taken away?
Well, the thing I'm going to take away most from it is just the relationships that I've built over the years and the time spent with the fire department family and the City of Victoria family. That is a special thing. Making those friendships and those relationships over the years and working so closely with people in such a high risk and high importance job has been just completely rewarding.
In these 27 years, how have you seen the fire crew force evolve over time?
Definitely evolved generationally. You know, as most people have seen, we had the baby boomers when I came in, and then Gen X, and definitely the millennials and these newer generations. So each of those generations is different, and they're motivated by different things. But the one common thing is they have a desire to serve their community and be part of a team and do an excellent job. So that's the common factor in all those generations. But that's how we've seen them evolve. And obviously, we've seen different. Firefighters come from different walks of life, you know. That's the unique and neat thing to see, is some people that were previously maybe not interested in the fire service are now interested in that. And I think it's a calling to community service is what they're finding fulfilling about that job.
And in these years, is there any particular moment that stood out to you? I know that might be tricky. There's so many memorable moments. I can't even imagine the excitement of being a fire crew member, but anything that stands out?
Yeah. You know, we get to see, unfortunately, we see a lot of tragedy, but we do see a lot of miracles, I think, happen. You know, we get to see some things that you would expect people not to survive. But besides those, you know, Hurricane Harvey was a big memory. I remember the response to that our department responded to. The flood of '98, I just started my career here at the Victoria Fire Department, and that happened, you know, within 2 years. And that was a big experience and a unique experience and a big challenge, and very impactful to the community. And lastly, in the past 5 years as I've been a fire chief, the response to the pandemic was very unique, something we did not expect, and very challenging. And the Victoria Fire Department, the men and women of the Victoria Fire Department handled that so well, just like they did all the other emergencies. I couldn't have been more proud to be part of the Victoria Fire Department.
And so now you're passing on the baton. What are some advice you would give to the next fire chief and the next members of the fire crew line?
I would say, the community here in Victoria is outstanding, and they're really supportive of their public safety organization. So embrace that, communicate, and make sure you're out there in the public and you're really feeling what the community needs. For example, during the pandemic, or even before the pandemic, we recognized there was a need for us to be involved in public health, and we started doing flu vaccinations for vulnerable populations. So really being aware of what is needed in the community, because the community and the needs that it requires of the fire department is always evolving. So I would just advise that, hey, stay in tune to those things and see what the community is needing from you.
All right. Well, Chief, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. And congratulations on
Thank you
27
very much.
years. James, back to you.
Karina, thank you so much. Former President Trump and his 18 co-defendants face arraignment in Fulton County September 6th in the Georgia election interference case. Trump will go first. He's expected to plead not guilty, though it's unclear if he'll do so in person. The court has scheduled his federal trial to start March 4th of next year. The defendants are charged with racketeering and other counts for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. A federal hate crime probe is underway after 3 people were killed in a racist rampage in Jacksonville. The community is coming together to remember those killed, and this afternoon we have more details about the suspected gunman.
A growing memorial outside this Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida, after police say a self-proclaimed white supremacist using an AR-15 style rifle and handgun opened fire, killing 3 black people.
I urge us all not to look for sense in a senseless act of violence.
The suspect, identified by police as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter, firing off 11 rounds, hitting 52-year-old Angela Michelle Carr's Kia while she sat in a parking lot, killing her. Authorities say he then walked in, shooting and killing 19-year-old employee Anolt Joseph Laguerre Jr. and 29-year-old Gerald Gallion, the father of a 4-year-old girl.
She's so young, and all she knew was her dad.
The gunman texted his dad to go into his room, where police say he found a last will and testament and suicide note. The family calling police, but the rampage was over after about 10 minutes. The shooter taking his own life as officers arrived on scene. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's a leading candidate for president, was booed by residents in Jacksonville as he spoke about the shootings.
Florida stands with the community. Help is on the way.
Some saying his policies and rhetoric attacking diversity in the state are in part to blame for creating an atmosphere of intolerance.
Respectfully, Governor, he was not a scumbag. He was a racist.
Investigators say Palmetto was involuntarily held for 72 hours at a mental health facility as a minor in 2017, but that he had no prior criminal history and legally purchased his weapons. Authorities say he had writings containing racist and hateful ideology. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A North Texas man is building crosses for the victims in the Dollar General shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Roberto Marquez built 3 crosses to remember those who were lost when a gunman opened fire at the store over the weekend. Over the last few years, he has also built crosses in Ukraine and Uvalde. He says he does it in hopes of helping others heal from the tragedy.
The Texas Tribune has this story on how some queer Texans may fear disclosing their sexual orientation or gender identity to their neighbors or the government. The lack of accurate numbers might make it harder to provide appropriate health care, especially in rural parts of Texas. We have the story also at crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Straight ahead on 25 News now at 5. 2 people are dead and 2 other people are in the hospital after a fire and rescue helicopter crashed in Broward County, Florida.
Also ahead, Florida state leaders warning their residents about a tropical storm headed their way. Of a smoking helicopter in South Florida Monday morning. A Broward County Sheriff's fire rescue helicopter was on fire near the rear of the aircraft before it went into a tailspin. The aircraft went down just north of Fort Lauderdale and crashed into a small apartment complex. The Broward Sheriff's Office said BSO Captain Terryson Jackson died in the crash. 2 others on board the helicopter were taken to the hospital. 1 person on the ground was killed and 2 others on the ground were hurt and taken to the hospital.
Bond is set at $100,000 for a man accused of causing a deadly school bus crash outside Dayton, Ohio. 35-year-old Armanio Joseph is charged with aggravated vehicular homicide. Ohio State troopers say Joseph was driving a minivan last week when he crossed over the center lane. That caused the school bus driver to go off the road. The bus went down an embankment and overturned. An 11-year-old boy was killed. 26 other children had to go to the hospital. The American Cancer Society says 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will face cancer diagnosis in their lifetime.
A recent study finds certain kinds of cancers are diagnosed more often in younger adults.
Women and adults in their 30s seem to be driving a rise in early onset cancer diagnosis rates.
Just to get the definition straight, if a cancer is diagnosed before the age of 50, it's considered an early onset diagnosis.
In a study published in JAMA Network Open, researchers found the rate of cancer diagnosis rose in adults in their 30s from 2010 to 2019, but remained stable over that period in other under 50 age groups, while the rate of cancer in those 50 and older is going down.
If you go back to 2010, there was roughly 100 per 100,000 diagnoses made in that population of people, again, under the age of 50. Fast forward 10 years and it's gone up to close to 103, so about a 3% increase.
Researchers found early onset cancers were going up fastest among people who identify as American Indian, Alaska Natives, Asians, and Hispanics. Cancers with the highest number of early onset cases diagnosed in 2019 were breast, thyroid, and colorectal cancers.
The percentage of the country that is obese at this young age now is higher than it's ever been.
Health experts believe that's one possible reason for the rise, along with smoking and lack of exercise. Researchers also think screening for these cancers has become more sensitive.
We are better at finding these cancers earlier. The screenings are happening, or they're more sensitive, so we may be finding more cancers that way.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Florida leaders say residents need to be ready for evacuation orders and power outages as Tropical Storm Idalia approaches. The National Hurricane Center predicts it will turn into a hurricane and strike the Gulf Coast Tuesday. Florida's State Emergency Management Director is warning coastal residents about storm surge. Governor Ron DeSantis says other parts of the state will see impacts as well.
A lot of people thought it would end up being a tropical storm. Then they said, well, maybe a Category 1. Then yesterday it was, oh, maybe it'll hit Cat 2. Now there really doesn't seem anything to prevent it from continuing to strengthen. This is going to be a major impact, and Floridians should expect that this storm will be a major Cat 3 plus hurricane.
Florida homeowners are nervous about this storm. Several major insurers have pulled out of the state in recent months. Mac?
Well, we'll have the latest on Idalia and its actual, or the latest track. It is going to be a Category 3, so it's a major hurricane that'll be there tomorrow night. For us, we're on the backside of it. You know what that means? We're going to get hot, dry air coming to our area. We'll talk all about that coming up in a moment. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have a few little clouds around here, but we haven't been very lucky because there are actually some rain showers around the area. But I'll tell you, it's the setup with Dahlia down there and the dome up to the north. It's kind of an unusual weather pattern that we're going to get for the next couple of days. It feels like 109 out there. The humidity has gone up, but we're getting a north wind, so it's all, shall we say, off the rails here. We did get up to 105. Can you believe it? I mean, I thought we with a north wind. You'd think we'd cool down a little bit, but it's a dry air mass, and that's why it got so sunny and so hot. The rain showers have been sort of popping around in and around the area. Here we are. You can see one just coming down, I guess, Highway 183 there, and a little bit heavier activity out toward Goliad County and then over to Karnes City. As you can see right about there, Karnes City already had about a quarter of an inch of rain. They're not huge, but you know, something's appreciated. The whole thing is that it's very unusual that all this is coming to us from the north. You notice how everything is drifting southward. Well, an unusual weather pattern is set up that has brought us the very high temperatures today. These are hot, dry temperatures with 105 for us, 104 in Port Lavaca. I know you're probably getting used to these numbers, aren't you? Yeah. Hopefully, you know, sooner or later they'll be gone. But tomorrow still on the warm side, and notice 97 up north and 102 and 101 down south. Now, why is all this happening? Well, here is Idalia. It is already strengthening up to 70 miles an hour, and it will become a Category 1 tonight. It'll strengthen to a 2 overnight and then to a 3. Okay, now 3 is a major category hurricane, and then it will start moving ashore somewhere between Tampa Bay and Apalachicola. Now, these areas either should be evacuating or should be making serious preparations right about now, and there's really no good spot here. This is all very flat land, and the storm surge is going to be quite amazing from the Tampa Bay area northward. In fact, Tampa, Clearwater, probably the most populated area. They're really going to get the brunt of it because the storm surge is coming up in this way, so it'll be going way up into the back bays. Now, the storm center will bring it somewhere right along the central Big Bend, as they call it, but Apalachicola is over here, flat land here. The problem is, as a 1, it'll be going over Gainesville and Tallahassee, and then as a diminishing 1 will be going over southern Georgia. So this is going to be a big story of the next couple of days. High pressure, or the dome as we call it, is out to the west of us. We're on the front side of it, so that's giving us the downslope or the north wind. Now, as Idalia starts moving up to Florida, we're going to get a stronger north dry wind, and that gives us a hot, dry pattern. So they're going to be getting tremendous hurricane force winds. We're getting hot, dry wind. Same thing, I don't know if you remember Katrina. Katrina had 100-mile-an-hour winds over here, and we were at 100 degrees temperature. So it just depends on where you're standing. Tomorrow in the Port Lavaca area, getting up to 97. You'll notice the north winds all over the area. Getting up to 98 in the Cuero area. We'll stay on the hot side as we get that north wind for the next few days. And we don't really see any moisture rolling back until sometime this weekend. That's your 7-day forecast. Now we'll toss it. Oh, got to remind you that we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's James and Karina.
All right, Mac, thank you so much. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, online pharmacy Rite Aid's stock plunged after a Wall Street Journal story report. The Dow plus 214 points, the S&P 500 adding 27 points, and the Nasdaq gaining 115 points. Oil up 33 cents, closing at $80.16 a barrel. Shares of Rite Aid plunged Monday after a Wall Street Journal report saying the online pharmacy is preparing to file for bankruptcy. Rite Aid is expected to file for Chapter 11 soon, declaring bankruptcy would halt lawsuits against the company related to the opioid epidemic. Authorities accuse Rite Aid of filling hundreds of thousands of unlawful prescriptions between 2014 and 2019.
3M is nearing a settlement with U.S. veterans over earplugs. The company would reportedly pay about $5.5 billion under terms still under discussion. Veterans claim the military-issued devices didn't protect them from hearing loss. It's the largest mouse tort in U.S. history with more than 300,000 claims. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, the Big Tex Choice Food Award winners were announced ahead of this year's State Fair of Texas. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight, the U.S. bracing for a major hurricane tonight. The new storm track just in, where this could hit Florida, then up the East Coast. A state of emergency already in effect. And the deadly shooting at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. You'll see the alarming images on campus next here.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus.
And if you're not hungry, you are now. We're just about a month away from the State Fair of Texas. Sunday, the Big Tex Choice Awards were announced. The finalists included all kinds of fried and delicious goodies, but only the best got the top awards. Deep fried pho won Best Taste and Savory, and Biscoff Delight for Best Taste Sweet. Most creative went to Cody and Lauren Hayes with their Bourbon Banana Caramel Sopapillas. The State Fair of Texas kicks off September 29th. I just smelled my grandmother's sopapillas.
Oh, that is
What about a fried tamale? Has this been done?
I wonder, they've done fried everything.
I would stay in line.
They came up
for
with
that.
fried pickles years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a hit.
Snickers,
Huge.
Twinkies.
Fried Snickers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, have you had that?
I don't think so, but I've fantasized about it.
You fantasize about I think that's where I draw the line. That and fried Twinkies, not a fan. But
I'd like to try it.
yeah, oh no, for sure. But Mac, this weather.
I tell you, there's no real change in our temperatures, but it's unusual for me that we're going to be getting a north wind, and it's going to be very hot and dry. But this is the backside, basically, of Hurricane Idalia, which is going to be hitting Florida by tomorrow night. Tomorrow night it comes ashore, and Wednesday morning we'll take an analysis of all the damage assessment. But it looks like the Big Bend of Florida is really going to be under the gun. Places like Tampa City. For us, we'll be at 100 degrees right on through the weekend. Somebody asked me how long, and I said, well, till October.
Ooh, we got to hang in there then.
It's a lot of people in that Tampa area. We have them in our thoughts. Thank you for being with us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.